welcome to week 2 of our War League team. So this is the first match for our team. Snorlax is playing against Jinzo 998. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, Snorlax didn't play the first week. He's a mainly Machina control player. Yeah. And our opponent is on Bio Turbo. So yeah, we start with a set Raikou and Deep Prison. The opponent goes for Armageddonite, send Necro, attack into Raikou. Okay. Our opponent just goes for Grapher, summons Armed Wing, attacks again into Raikou. Okay. Snorlax Deep Prisons here, this is completely fine, and then he attacks into the Raikou. Yeah. He draws the Dust Shoot, so he doesn't attack into the empty field. So this is smart. There could be Gauss, so we don't want to attack into Gauss. Okay, he decides not to Chaos the Raikou maybe, but this is fine because all those cards like replace themselves or rip cards from the hand, so no reason to really Chaos. Yeah, I like this. This is well played. Okay, he decides to set the charge. Yeah, because he's out of targets, he plays I think only one Lila. Yeah. He draws another Chaos. Banishes. Drops another Chaos. Yeah, and as you can see, our opponent top decks Dark Armed with exactly 3 Darks Engrave, so yeah, and he was on 600 life points. This is really unfortunate. Yeah, the Compulse is fine, but it doesn't deal that well with the Dark Armed. Yeah, and our opponent rips the Burial to get 2 Darks immediately into the grave, so very, very unlucky. Okay, our opponent... Interesting. Okay. He sent back the Necro Gardener. So yeah, Snorlax can't go for game with the brain control. Yeah, very unfortunate. Back to back crazy top decks in Dark Armed into Burial, make the Dark Armed life again. Okay, yeah, Snorlax sided Iron Wall. I'm not the biggest fan myself, but it can be really good against Vayu. So yeah, this is still fine. Okay, he sets another Raikou. Decides not to kill the Vayu, I don't know. I probably would have killed the Vayu with the... Yeah, with the Raikou, because you have Iron Wall, you don't even care that much. But it's fine. The opponent sets into the Raikou, so... Okay, he has Torrential. Yeah, now it's looking quite good with the Iron Wall. Yeah. The opponent Deep Prisons, Snorlax chains Iron Wall, and the opponent chaining 3 MSTs, so also unfortunate. Yeah, but everything is still fine. Okay, the opponent has Plague and Grave. Our opponent decides not to make Stardust or Dark End. Yeah, I don't know, maybe because he doesn't have protection, he's fearing the Machina Fortress. Goes in. Yeah, the Cyber Dragon is not good for us. Yeah, and now our opponent Snorlax decides to set the Raikou next to the fortress. Yeah, and our opponent top decks the Mind Control and clears his hand by discarding the Crow. Yeah, now he can pop the fortress for free, which is not good. And he rips the burial, so I would say our opponent top decked quite well, and the longer the game goes on, yeah, and he top decks into the Iron Wall, which doesn't do anything. So 0-2 loss. Really unfortunate draws. I felt like Snorlax was in a good position most of the game, but the opponent drew the right cards in the right position. So yeah, we are down by 1. Our second match is between supposedly, aka Ronnie. Yeah, he didn't play the first week, and Ren's 17. Yeah, supposedly is on Hero Frogs, and our opponent is on Blackwing, as you can see. Yeah, he starts off well with Stratos and Dust Shoot. Brain Control also really good. He decides to hold the Dust Shoot to maybe bluff Deep Prison or a Discard Trap or something like that, and yeah, after opponent sets a monster, he decides to activate the Dust Shoot. He decides to tribute summon the Malicious Edge. Yeah, he knows our opponent only has a book, so he can safely attack. He also knows that this is Bora, so yeah, you can just safely attack. So, okay, now our opponent draws into the game. Decides not to attack with Bora. Bora is too small. Yeah, he has to go for the Armor Master, right? And he sets everything. Okay. He special summons Swap. Bounces to hand, sets Dupe and Torrential. He now supposedly just goes for Summon Swap, Priority, Bounce to hand, Chain Torrential, which clears the Armor Master. Our opponent draws into a Blizzard, decides to go for the Armed Wing and tries to attack over the ocean. Yeah, supposedly has the Wing Blast on the Armor Master. Our opponent decides to chain Icarus. Yeah, I would say supposedly in a really good position. Okay, our opponent has Solemn Mirror Force, but he has Gauss and is in a very good position. If you're in this position with Frogs, it's hard to beat them. Yeah, and our opponent keeps drawing into a back row, so he can just decide to just poke. Okay, now he has the Whirlwind, but only Khalud. Yeah, supposedly he really plays it really conservatively because he has the Miracle Life but decides not to drop it just into the Khalud. He wants the opponent to commit to the field and then drop the Miracle. So he just summons the Unifrog and tries to pop something, and the Uni gets booked, so he's still full life, so it's completely fine at this point. Yeah, and he even draws the Heavy Storm now. Our opponent is now forced to Solemn. And he goes for the Brain. Forces the Icarus. Okay. Yeah, and now goes for the F-Zero. It gets Mirror Forced, which is not the best, but yeah, our opponent is really low. Even one Kaius is really dangerous. Yeah, the Blackwing player decides not to attack into the Gauss. This is still fine. Yeah, but now goes into the Mistform. This is interesting. And decides to attack. Okay. Yeah, Mirror Force is gone, you can swing. And yeah, supposedly it takes game 1. He opens with Dust Shoot again. Really, really good. Decides to set both, okay, into the Icarus maybe, but yeah, if you just summon Shura, you maybe don't want to Icarus right away. Yeah, now he Deep-Prisons. And he hits the 50-50, which is really, really good. So the back row goes to top, so he dead draws the back row. Discards and goes in with the Absolute Zero. Interesting. The opponent decides to... He draws into his Royal Oppression. He has Icarus and he decides not to attack with the Zirocco, drop Khalud and yeah, clear the F-Zero. Okay, you lose your Zirocco, but yeah, he wants supposedly Ronnie to play into the Icarus bite. I think the Icarus is quite obvious. Okay, now he drops the Khalud, of course. Okay, he Water Arts. Draws into Duke Frog. Yeah, now he has the Malicious Edge and the Icarus is still dead. Okay, Ronnie just Wing Blasts the back row. Interesting. I think this was in our opponent's turn. Yeah, maybe he wanted to get rid of the back row in case he can somehow Icarus, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, and our opponent is forced to Rug a Swap Frog and then Ronnie can just Miracle Fusion. So yeah, quick 2-0, yeah, he got a match back for us, so we are 1-1 at this point. So now we have match 3 between Yunuchi Oliver against Fedrix. Yeah, Yunuchi already played week 1. Yeah, but this time he's on a spicy zombie list with Deck Devastation Virus. And it looks like he's playing against Amaryllis. Okay, our opponent goes for Charge, Search, Lila. even attacks into the back row and pops the Dust Tornado. Yeah, but Oliver has the MST into run over with Turtle. Yeah, and he just goes in. Doesn't attack into the potential Gauss. Opponent goes for Trooper, mills Amaryllis. Okay. He searches Mizuki. Interesting. Yeah, and he has a cool play. He takes the Plague Spreader zombie from our opponent with his Zombie Master by discarding Mizuki, banish Mizuki, yeah, bring out the Goblin Zombie, make Hades and Goblin Zombie. Now he can run over both of his opponent's monsters without triggering the effect, or it negates the effect, so he goes for a +2 there. Yeah, the Amaryllis is permanently negated, so yeah. Now the deck Devi goes so crazy. Our opponent is thinking, yeah, I can brain control, maybe take the Hades and run over the Goblin Zombie to negate it. And Oliver chains the deck Devastation Virus. Yeah, and now they're discussing if you can still banish for Amaryllis even though it's negated. He tributes for Illblood. Tribute sets the Illblood. Yeah, and our opponent, yeah, he tribute sets it because of the mark. So our opponent could take it if he normals it and normal summon this, bring out his own plague and make a level 8. So good play by Oliver. Okay. Our opponent decides to Wing Blast. Exactly, Wing Blast on the Illblood, I think. Oliver chains Return, and then our opponent is forced to chain Trap Stun, otherwise he would lose. So his own Wing Blast is negated. Yeah, and Oliver goes for the Forge Ruler and then can play around the Mark of the Rose. Our opponent has Hamster in Amaryllis. Okay, don't see that often. Okay, Oliver decides not to go in with the Diner. Maybe, yeah, he's afraid of Raiko probably. Okay. Yeah, this is quite annoying. He can bring out the Titanium, but he has the Fossil Diner and even the Diva. I'm not sure if Oliver's on Gilman in this build, but okay, now he has Gardner engraved, so he has to set the Puffy. And our opponent even decides to go in even more with one more Lone Fire, even though you have to be afraid of Fossil Diner in this matchup, in almost any matchup. So I would not have done this, but this is really good for us. So it blows up the whole board. Yeah, and Oliver draws into his favorite tech card, the Ultimate Offering. Let's see what he can do. Yes, he's targeting Necro Gardener. Our opponent decides to chain. Brings out the Goblin. Has the Diva. Yeah, now he has crazy plays with Offering, so yeah, he's everything. So he also wins 2-0, so yeah, we are up. Now we are at the fourth match between Ubayd Salim and Jarek's US 9696. Yeah, normally Ubed plays either Blackwing or Vayu. This time he's on the brand new Vayu list, the Raikou-less, Hamsterless Vayu list, the turbo build with Legacy and Upstart. He's against, I think it was Diva Hero. Yeah, he has Legacy and Icarus decides to set both. Our opponent goes for Diva and goes in right away. Yeah, now he summons Armageddonite. Maybe he could have held the Armageddonite, maybe summoned just the Sirocco, try to attack over the Diva, and then if our opponent does something like Deep Prison, he can chain the Icarus. Yeah, maybe could have played a bit different, but it's fine. Okay, he mirror forces, and now goes in with the Vayu. Still has the Icarus, so yeah, now he Icarus. Yeah, the opponent chains Solemn, which is a bit unfortunate because he has 2 Miracle in hand. It's, yeah, hard to deal with. He special summons Grepha by pitching, Sirocco. Then he discards, I think he discards Vayu. Yeah, and sends Sirocco. Now he's normaling a Gale to threaten the Black Rose. Yeah, and our opponent has Wing Blast, but he's forced to discard a Miracle Fusion, which is good in this situation. Yeah, and we just go in, but he has the Mirror Force. Now he goes for F-Zero. We go for Armor Master, just attack. And set the Boreal. We banish Necro to not get that low, because we would be at under 1000 and the Chaos Burn would be lethal if we don't Necro Gardener here. Yeah, he just attacks into Grepha. Opponent has to compulse. We Burial. We Necro again to not be that low. Yeah, now we go for Silverwind and decide not to attack and set the Solemn Judgment behind this, so we don't want to lose to Deep Prison. It would have been fine because he has Torrential. Yeah, and we Solemn, and yeah, we win game 1. So yeah, not the easiest, but I would say well played. Yeah, our opponent starts game 2 off really well with Dustshoot, Stratos, Kaiku is also annoying. Yeah, we have Grepha pulling the rug, Mirror Force, Trooper, Sirocco, so also a good hand, I would say, but yeah, Dustshoot is annoying. Just go for the Trooper, at least mill a Necro. Yeah, we Necro Gardener here to get more mills. We attack. Yeah, now it's really good that we still have the Mirror Force to get rid of the Kaiku. Okay. Yeah, I remember this. He was telling me he did a misplay and put the wrong card on top, so he couldn't go for a Brainek bounce to discard the Vayu. So now he has to discard the Jar and draw into the Vayu with Trooper. He crashes with the malicious. Yeah, no, it goes in with the armed wing. Yeah, opponent has to compulse, so we are not in the best position, I would say. Mm, yeah, now he goes for the for the Armageddonite. Yeah, he just needs the second piece engrave. So he sends the Zirocco. Decides not to summon it. Yeah, our opponent had bottomless and yeah, Torrential wasn't gone, Mirror Force also, so this is fine. Sets the deck devastation. Yeah, he probably also wants to wait a turn to then get the deck devi off with the armed wing. Our opponent draws Solemn, just sets it. Yeah, he just pokes. Maybe he could have gone for the armed wing. Then our opponent would bottomless, most likely. Yeah, yes to bottomless. Yeah, because he doesn't have Miracle Life. Then you can chain that. Okay, it doesn't hit that much, but you have hand information. Yeah, maybe he should have done that. I'm not sure. This game, I would say, was quite complicated. Okay, our opponent just dead draws all the Caiuses, so yeah, if he would have deck devied, our opponent had the choice to, if he lets it go through, this would have been ripped away, or he would have solemned it, and he would have been on way lower life. Yeah, now he goes for the heavy, which is good. Yeah, I think Ubed should have gone in with the deck devi, with the armed wing and then chain deck devi. Yeah, this is really tough. It's still okay, but let's see. Yeah, he Necro Gardeners and Ubed just sets the Icarus. Yeah, he decides in standby phase to destroy both Goyo and Malicious to play around Dark Amt to put him on 4 Darks. Sadly, our opponent top decks into Rota to special Grapha and Tribute. Yeah, all other cards were dead, so the play was fine because he denied the Caius Tribute, but yeah, our opponent top decked into the Rota. Yeah, maybe you want to hold the Icarus there. Can't be too afraid of the one-offs like Dark Armed. Yeah, now he's in a very, very bad spot. Yeah, and he has to concede game 2. Yeah, our opponent starts with Future Fusion and we don't have Oppression, which is annoying. Okay, the Armageddonite clears the Plague. Yeah, now our opponent is threatening the Stardust Dragon, so we have to use Mystical Space Typhoon preemptively on the Future Fusion. Okay, we have one out with Deep Prison, but yeah, our opponent is smart and doesn't attack into the Deep Prison with the Stardust. Yeah, now we decide to make our own Stardust. And we have Burial. Yeah, our opponent is forced to Solemn because we could just sit behind the Stardust. And have the Icarus, right? Have the Icarus, use Burial, get the Armed Wing out. Icarus, our opponent would have to negate, and we can negate his Stardust with our own, but yeah, he sees that play. So we go for Burial. Go for the Armed Wing. Yeah, and attack, and our opponent has the Mirror Force. We probably should have gone for Armed Wing into stack the Icarus for Dark and get rid of the Stardust and have the Deep Prison as backup. Yeah, this plays too badly into Mirror Force. Okay, now our opponent top decks return, so we might have lost. Yeah, we might have lost anyway, but I'm not sure. Yeah, this was complicated. Now he attacks into Deep Prison. We just draw the Rug. And yeah, our opponent just attacks. So we are 2-2 at this point, so we just have to. So the deciding match is between Coconut, aka Marius, and Redentore. Yeah, Marius on Hero Frog, our opponent is on some Pac-Man stall strategy. You will see this will be a real torture for Marius. This will be a really long match. Yeah, our opponent has Dark Bribe, Gravity Bind, and Golem Sentry. Yeah, this puts a monster back to the hand if it's flipped. Yeah, at this point this is... Yeah, Marius just goes for the Storm, this is fine. Okay, yeah, he draws into the MST. Goes for the Stratos. Yeah, and goes for the level limit. Uses the Stratos to pop the level limit. Yeah, first summons the 0 to have a hero, and then okay. Yeah, Marius tributes for Substitute. Okay, maybe he's not on Unifrog in the main deck. Okay, our opponent Fiendish chains the swap, but it can be bounced back to hand for cost. Yeah, it goes for Planter, draws a few cards, even draws into the Needle Ceiling. Yeah, and our opponent has Black Garden, so the game state is already annoying with all the tokens, they're halved monsters. Okay, he banishes it to 0 to blow up the field. Which is a good play in this situation. Swarm of Scarabs. Yeah, this just destroys the monster. Okay. Yeah, having Ocean now is... with Stratos is really good. Yeah, okay, the Ocean gets cleared, which is annoying, but... Marius is in a good spot. I would say Hero Frog is probably really good against this deck because you have so much removal. Yeah, he clears everything, and this is looking bad for our opponent. Tribute summons the Gauss. keeps attacking. Okay. Ah, okay. Luckily he hit the needle ceiling. This would have gotten a bit ugly if he would have hit the other card and would have gotten his monster's needle ceiling. Yeah, okay. So he wins game 1. Our opponent starts with double Death Lacooda, Swords, Dark Bribe, and Oppression. Okay, he just sets everything. Okay, Marius decides not to torrential. Ah, he torrentials here. This is smart. This is really smart. And then flip the 3-1. This is, I would say, heads up to Marius. This is really good. Yeah, luckily our opponent doesn't have started with. Okay, he decides to Dark Bribe this. Gets back the Caius. Okay, he blows up. Yeah, now our opponent wants to get the Stardust Dragon, even though it's already in the grave, so it can't be destroyed. So you will not get a Stardust Dragon. But you can negate the effect of the F-Zero, of course. Okay, he has all the Death Lacoodas, which... And now he has the, what's his name? Rivalry. So he has to bounce back one Swap Frog to be able to tribute. In Edison you can actually tribute under Rivalry for a different type. But still, this is annoying. So he can't bring out 3-1 now. Yeah, this combination is getting really annoying. Okay, this is good. The soul exchange for Kairos is really good. Okay, Marius decides to dust one back row and goes for the heavy storm. Sadly, it doesn't hit the 50-50, so Starlight Road resolves. And now he's getting stalled out completely out of the game. Without heavy storm, it's hard to play through this. Yeah, now he has a lock. Now at least he clears all the monsters with the F-Zero, so it's still fine, but yeah, this plays quite cool with the limit reverse. Flip the monster face down and then Planter. Yeah, he gets hit with Needle Ceiling again, and yeah, Garden is putting tokens on the field, so the Needle Ceiling is always live. Okay, Wall of Revealing Light, interesting. And Threatening Roar, and even one more Needle Ceiling, so... Yeah, this is getting annoying. Yeah, you don't get tokens when this is flipped. Okay, he drops the Gauss now. Threatening Roar. Pop the Gauss. Take Threatening Roar again. Put this on top, which is good. Activate Oppression. Yeah, Marius doesn't have enough cards in deck, he just decides to scoop this up. Yeah, this game was very, very long. This is already like 1 hour in or something. This game took like over 1.5 hours. So real torture for Marius to see if he can win this. Okay, he summons the Golem Sentry, then flips it face down, so it's quite obvious that he has Needle Sealing, so he wants to put tokens on the field. He snipes one. Okay, goes for the Kai's. Threatening roll. Yeah, but even now already Marius is in a really good spot. He has a lot of advantage. Bounces back the Kaios, banishes something again. Yeah. Attacks. Okay, he wants to burn for game. He goes for the second chance by bouncing the Kaios back. Yeah, this was crazy. Yeah, but luckily Marius played it well, and yeah, so we have the victory in week 2. So we hope we can continue the good form and also win week 3.